In the spirit of Christmas and with the holidays just around the corner, I wanted to show you how I built this nativity home, or in Spanish, if you speak Spanish, una casita navideña. I decided to build it using only materials that I would find around my shop. For the base of it, I'm gonna use a piece of plywood, I believe it's white oak, and for the beams, I'm using this maple that I had laying around. Now these are 8/4 and the final dimensions for all the beams and studs are gonna be 1.5 by 1.5. My purpose with this nativity home is that I can be able to take it apart every year and be able to reuse it. And with that in mind, I'm gonna use mostly half lap joinery, but some parts will be glued together so that I don't have just tons of tiny little parts every year. Before I do anything, I'm figuring out the roof and the beams that are gonna be holding the roof. At the moment, it might seem a little confusing what I'm doing or what I'm talking about, but basically these are the two side beams, and even though it might seem a little confusing, um, I'm putting them together with double-sided tape so that I can cut the half laps on both of them at the same time. And if you see, first I'm cutting to the lines so that I can be exact and move it a little bit more or a little bit less, and then little by little I'll cut the rest of it away, just by moving both pieces at the same time. And once the inner part has been hugged out, I'll just remove the middle double-sided tape and put them in place and mark the piece, the both pieces that are going to be underneath, and do the same thing, just do the other half lap. Now this part will be glued together because this will remain as one piece even when I take it apart, and all I do is just put some Tybon original on both and put some clamps, and that'll do for this part. Now if you see at the front a little bit of the beams stick out, that's just sort of as you would see on a farm, just the beams sticking out a little bit, and you'll see in the end what I mean. But on the back is pretty much flush. There's a little bit sticking out, but not so much. For the roof pitch, I had this coat hanger pole that I will use as if they were round beams as they used to be used in the past. Just put some glue in the middle and use some brad nails. Now I put a little clamp to make sure it doesn't move, because otherwise it wiggles a lot when you want to put the nails, and cut a little piece to rest on the beams, and this is kind of what it's gonna look like. And the roofing material is gonna be over that. But because the roof might be too heavy, I wanted to create this little support as you would on a normal house, I guess. And before continuing, I decided to round everything over except where the round beams are gonna be resting on, where they overlap on the sides, but everything else is gonna be rounded over. Continuing on to the next part, for the lateral support beams that go on each corner, I have this same 8/4 walnut that I'll be cutting to size, and these are gonna be the support beams for each corner. For the joinery, I'll be using the same thing. If you see here, I already did the half lap on these, and now I'm just cutting the half lap on the other piece, the one that will be supporting the roof. By doing it this way, this will allow me to use screws to hold them in place, and they're not gonna be able to move side to side, and it will be easier when I want to take it apart to just remove a screw and remove the walls. And obviously what you're seeing here is upside down because the bottom is the top. And now all I have to do is drill the hole, pre-drill a hole where the screw is gonna be, and this will allow me to introduce a screw without cracking the wood. obviously round over before installing, so I did that first. And this is what I was talking about. Once you make that hole and put the screw, this is gonna hold everything in place, and just do that for all of them. And now it's time to turn it right side up, but before we do that, we must install the floor. And by installing it with screws, not glue, we will be able to remove it in the future when we want to take it apart. And there you go, it's right side up. I wanted to give it a look as if you're in a stable. So obviously when you have a stable, you have barriers for the horses and the donkeys and the sheep not to go through from one side to the other. And to achieve that look, I decided to rip a lot of these white oak pieces that I have laying around and put them on the side as if they are barriers for the sheep and the donkeys not to approach baby Jesus. And with the bottom piece now finished, now we can continue onto the roof. So now we're gonna install these beams, but remember, only what's meant to be together is gonna be glued, everything else is gonna be screwed, so we can, in the future, when Christmas is over, we can take all the screws apart and put it away. So this part is gonna be taken off in the future, but this middle part, I will use glue and leave it in place. By the way, I decided to leave this clip of my son Christopher sneezing because his face is so funny. I didn't even realize he did that until later when I was editing this video, that I can see his little face just being so, I don't even know what to call it. It was just funny. And by this time, as Christopher continued with his allergies, I was already working on the roof part. For the roofing, I will use also the same piece of plywood that I used for the floor, but I bought a couple of boards, just regular cedar fencing boards. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna resaw them in half. First of all, cut them in half and then resaw them to make them thinner. And what I plan to do is cut these in a way that when I put them on the roof, they will seem as legitimate wood roofing shingles. Doing this was actually pretty satisfying. I don't plan to make them all the same or even the same size. So naturally, some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. But the corners also, I'm gonna cut them with the bandsaw, as you're gonna see here shortly. But again, as you can see, I'm not following a straight line or even a certain size. Even some of them I will cut shorter just to make sure they are not the same size. The colors of each piece of wood are different too, but that's not gonna matter in the end because I'm gonna do a sort of a stain. It's not gonna drastically change the color. It's more or less gonna make everything look as if it's kind of the same wood. To glue them on the roof, I did use glue and brad nails. I didn't use too many brad nails because the brad nails only gonna hold it in place until the glue dries. But once I do the second line, you do need a little bit more of that brad nail because there's a little bit of glue surface, so the brad nailing, it's a little more necessary. And this is what it looks in the end. And I did both sides just the same way. The last line of roof shingles, I left it to do it in place so that it didn't look awkward. I did cut all of them a little bit because it being that it's the last line, I couldn't figure out a better way to do it. So it looks a little weird, but it's not so bad. And up until now, the roofing is just being held by these clamps. So to attach it to the round beams, I'm just gonna put some screws that I can remove in the future. And don't worry, the water's not gonna leak through. You know why? Because it's gonna be inside. So not to worry. And once all the screws are in, just give it a quick test after removing the clamps to make sure the roofing is not going anywhere, and we're all good. Tap tap, pull pull, toopity poop. Yep, all good. Now for the next stage. For the final touch, I'm just gonna use wipe on poly. I believe it's walnut color, so it's gonna make all of the wood darker, but it's more than anything gonna make all of the wood look like it's the same type of wood. If you remember, the bottom beams, the lateral beams are walnut, but this brings out more the color, and to the maple it makes it look a little bit darker and makes everything blend in together. Let me know if you guys would have left it just like it was without the stain, or if you like the end product as I do. And in the Christmas spirit, I wish you all to have Merry Christmas with your families. And for those of you that follow me and are subscribed, I really appreciate you guys. And for those of you who have not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And for everybody, Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year if I don't see you again, or if I don't hear from you again. Goodbye.